Understanding when you should transition into retirement can be difficult. Today, I'm joined by John Conley of Rubino and Lang Wealth Partners, who will be walking us through a few reasons why retiring at 65 could be one of the worst decisions you can make. Over the past 25 years, John Conley with Rubino and Lang Wealth Partners have helped individuals all over the United States identify the retirement strategies that allow them to retire at the right time. The problem with a lot of retirement advice you hear online is that it tells you to wait until 65 before transitioning into retirement. But the truth is, for many people, retirement could happen a lot sooner than you think. In today's video, we're going to break down why retiring at 65 could be a huge mistake, and we're going to explain how you can calculate the right age to retire at. Let's get into the video.
The first reason retiring at 65 might be the biggest mistake you make is your 50s and 60s are your most active years. Delaying your retirement to age 65 is actually reducing the amount of healthy and active years that you can enjoy during your retirement years. You see, the World Health Organization produces what they call the healthy life expectancy each year. What the World Health Organization does is they go out throughout the world to different countries and they compile a bunch of data. Once that data comes back and they put out a table, that table basically looks at what is the average age that person in that country can expect to live to before they suffer a major health issue. On that list, Japan comes in at number 1. Their average age that a Japanese person can live to before they suffer a major health issue is age 74. Unfortunately, the United States was not number 1 on that list, and they are actually number 10. The average American can expect to live to age 66 before they suffer a major health issue. The Gallup poll shows that the average American is retiring at the age of 65. That is just 13 months that you can enjoy a healthy and active lifestyle in your retirement years before you may suffer a major health issue. You have to ask ourselves, is this what we want? I know these are strictly averages, so that doesn't mean you or I are going to suffer a major health issue at 66. But these are things that we need to know. These are things that we need to understand when we are looking at our retirement years. Life expectancy plays a role. Health plays a role. Family genes play a role. We work so hard, 20 to 30 years. We want to enjoy the fruits of our labor during our most active and healthy years. So delaying retirement to age 65 actually reduces the amount of time that we can enjoy our retirement as active and healthy as we can be. The second reason retiring at 65 might be the biggest mistake you make is retirement is not as expensive as you may think it is. Oftentimes we see clients come into our office and they overestimate what their expenses are in their retirement. If you're like a lot of our clients, making this transition from working years to retirement can be a bit nerve-wracking. People meet this with some trepidation. You're going from working, earning a paycheck, contributing to a 401k, to now I'm making withdrawals from my investments and solely relying on your investments. Oftentimes when we sit down with people, they overestimate their expenses or they guess. They simply just take their salary, in this example of $100,000, and they just roll that over to their new expense number. And that becomes the new baseline. But sometimes they fail to realize that inside that salary, they have payroll taxes. Payroll taxes 7.65. They may be contributing to a 401k. And I'll use an example of $15,000 here. So all of a sudden, this salary of $100,000 is not really take home $100,000. But it's now $77,350 to be exact. So basing their expenses on their salary does not make much sense at all. So as you can see, $100,000 expenses compared to $77,000 a year is a big difference and really has an impact on the overall success of that plan. Another area where expenses are wrong or haven't been thought about enough by clients is that they do not take into consideration expenses that it costs to go to work every day. We have clients that work in the city. They may have to buy a parking pass to park their car. It can be very, very expensive. They may need to take public transportation in the train. Those are some expenses that will be coming off of your expense sheet once you stop work. Another example is maybe an individual has a mortgage payment. payment is $2,000 per month. And that mortgage may be paid off in 5 years. So we make sure we have to take into consideration that your expenses are going to decrease by another $24,000 in 5 years. You see, there are a lot of different ways that expenses may come down in retirement. We have to take all of these into consideration and think of what we call the what-if scenarios. What if you have a plan of maybe downsize, sell the house? Now there's no mortgage. You purchase a new place, and now you have even more investable assets. I can give you countless ways how expenses may come down during your retirement years, but we have to make sure that we spend the correct amount of time getting an accurate expense number. The third reason retiring at 65 might be the biggest mistake you make is retirement does not prevent part-time work. We are seeing a lot of our clients entering this retirement stage, and then they're making transitions from working full-time to maybe part-time, moving into consultant roles, or even pursuing some of these passion projects. So what does this mean to you in your retirement? Well, if you just stop working and you don't go into a consultant or a part-time job, you are now going to rely on your investments to meet some of your lifestyle goals. But working part-time or being a consultant actually reduces your income, but it increases your freedom. Because we're working and we do have income coming in now, that means we are relying less on our investments to meet our monthly goals. This allows your investments to continue to grow, to maybe provide more for you down the road once you stop working full time. Since you're working in a consultant role or a part-time role, this will allow you to increase your freedom, but your income does reduce. But because of that reduction in income, we are not relying on our investments as much as if we were not in one of those type of roles. Also, maybe working part-time helps us in maybe pushing off turning on Social Security for a later age. And by pushing that off for a few years, that allows for a bigger benefit once we stop working. You see, there could be many reasons why expenses or retirement is not as expensive as you think it is. So what do we do? First, ask yourself, how do you envision your retirement? What do you want it to look like? Do you want to be down in Florida 6 months out of the year? Is it taking the kids on a major trip each year? How do you want to spend your retirement years? We want to make sure that we are on the right path and that we're planning to your goals and your desires. You want to take a look at your finances. You want to come up with a financial strategy and a game plan that will allow you to retire at 55 versus 65. You want to make sure that you come up with a strategy that is attainable and that is reasonable. You want to make sure that you work with your financial advisor. You want to take a look at your finances. You want to come up with a strategy that's going to allow you to retire at 55 versus 65. You want to make sure that this strategy is something that you can attain and something that is reasonable and that it will allow you to retire with confidence. As important as investment strategies, asset allocation, tax savings strategies are, we need to make sure that we take time and be mindful of what our expenses are. It may seem boring. It may not seem as important as investment strategies and tax saving strategies, but I promise you it is very important and is a critical part of the process.
Thanks, John. That was great. Now that you understand some of the reasons that you could and maybe should retire as soon as possible, you can start putting together the right steps to speed up your retirement. However, there are factors of retirement planning that we were not able to cover in this short video. So if you want answers to some of retirement's difficult questions, click on the link in the description.